So the next thing we're going to do is the head, and I'm probably going to have to build some tools for that. So I will bring you back over to the workbench when we've got that figured out. I'm going to try. So this is what I'm making here, and it's supposed to emulate one of these, and that goes on to this. You can see how that fits in there. And then we've got the same thing here that I'm building in the lathe. Okay, there we go. Probably need to do a little bit more filing on there, but you can see this is like a little holder for that, and it also a spacer. It's all just kind of integrated. So anyway, take a little bit of material out of here. This is just a bit tight. So I just wanted to show you guys the finished product here. This is that little bolt standoff piece that I made. I goofed a little bit here. I made this a little bit too small. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, but it'll still work. And you know, we'll get that figured out. But here's the back side. Looks like I probably need to shim that or something. This is just a quick little job. It's not supposed to be anything super spectacular, but it does a job. So the whole point is to be able to push in that switch here without that thing breaking off, because if it's putting all the pressure on this side, it's a good chance it's going to shatter that switch, and I don't know where I'd find another one like that. So that's done. So rather than having to use the spanner wrench here, I had to use a punch to kind of get this loosened up. So now I've got this one going. This one is really carboned up, and I'll try and keep this pressure down on this. Let's see what we're going to find in here. I hate having to do it with the punch, because you can see right there it's messed that up a little bit. We'll have to file that down in order to get the caps back on. This being so carboned up, I couldn't get it off. And these spanner wrenches are not the right size. Ow, that hurt. Kept one of those back on for this one. So what I've done here is I just rebuilt this valve. It's really simple. You just take out this screw and you change the flapper and the spring, which are these. The hardest part was getting the springs untangled from each other, but little flappers and things are in great shape. So anyway, I took a brush inside the bore here and cleaned out that seat. I'll try and show you on camera here. So that should be pretty shiny in there, and that'll help us to have a good seal in there. So let's double check how this is supposed to go in here, because I just want to make sure. And these are, looks like this is the exhaust for the high pressure. So this should go in like this. And I forgot one little piece here. Double check. This other one here is just absolutely filthy. This is why I left these together, because the manual does not show you which way these go. It goes like this. So the screw side goes up. It's down in there, seated in the board against that copper washer. And then this thicker side of this goes towards the top. I'm just going to pull this other one just to double check because this one hasn't been touched. And sure enough, thicker side towards the top. So you got more space here than you do here. Okay. If I could stop getting phone calls here, that would probably help. So, the only close-up I was able to do with the other valve was from my phone. So, hopefully this is good enough to show you what's going on here. I can't really get you high enough or close enough any other way. These are just clean up on the brush, you know, on the power brush here. And then this, I gotta go grab a battery. Got a customer that keeps texting me and calling me. Okay, so you can see how that comes apart. It's really simple. I couldn't get this open or undone, whatever you want to call it, with just the regular Allen wrenches. So I had to bust out the impact. It's important to note, you're careful about how that spring is oriented in there. So it's like this. That cap on here basically captures it. You've got a provision there for capturing the big end. Alright, the next thing in here, take this out of the vise so I can show you up close, is this flapper. And these actually look like they're in really good shape. They might. That's all there is to it. Assembly is the reverse of disassembly, and I'm going to get these cleaned up on the power brush, and I'll bring you back when I've got it all reassembled. Okay, we are having serious issues here. Of course, I mean, these holes line up and everything. It's just, I don't know what I'm going to do about this cage. I don't want that to sit there and rattle. So I tried in the other holes, and it did not line up. So those must have been the old holes. Hard to tell when they're not marked, you know, because under the paint now. Should be wearing earplugs. I'll be deaf here in a minute. Pain. You know, this is a upgrade and a switch of pumps too. So we've got about what 35-year difference between pumps. So there's your issue, is they decided to change a little bit of the mounting around, and now see that, that's a problem. I can't have it doing that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I might have to hit it with a mallet out here, see if I can bend it. So, okay, that helped a ways, but it does present us with a problem. Let's see if this works. Okay, now we're going to grease that shaft just a little bit on here, just to slide that on and keep it from corroding as well. Pretty good witness mark as to where that should be lined up. So if all goes well, she'll just slide on right now. And I'm having a hard time getting certain customers to pay their bill, and then I've got other people who just want to call the shop and get free advice. Just had that happen not 10 minutes ago. Hey, give me some free advice, and oh yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that job myself, or take it somewhere else. And I'm going, why thank you. That sure helps me pay the bills. Well, there goes our key. All right, well, I was wondering about that. But, boy, you don't want that to rotate on there. I think we're pretty well where we should be. Let's see, this key is probably going to fight us now, too. I think that's most of what was fighting us. So, I'll try and put some pressure forward on this. Okay, I think we're in good shape there. We didn't bugger the end of it or anything, so it's a pretty hard key. So let's see if this will roll over at all now. Oh yeah, no problem. Now I got that weight of that flywheel and that leverage. Absolutely no issue. Hear that hissing? Last video or earlier in this video. So we're all set that way. Let's find our pinch bolt here. Remember in that first video, their pinch bolt, they had that washer on the wrong side, so we're not going to do that. And I want to check something here, because I think we got this flywheel on here backwards. Look at it. Trying to do these videos, you know, you're a little distracted, so not a big issue. That's why you double check. Okay. But you guys are here to see all my screw-ups. But that's an important... Alright, battery died on the camera. And you guys ever done YouTube videos? I don't know if you realize how annoying it is to have to deal with the cameras while you're working. But boy, does it waste a lot of time. It probably takes me 3 times longer to do a job shooting. Which is silly. Alright. Yoink this flywheel off again and get it flipped the right way this time, dummy. And away we go. It's not hurting anything, you know, the way it is as far as going on the shaft. It's just that your fan blades are going to be backwards. Okay, I hope this thing doesn't suck. And that's exactly what I was worried about. Okay, luckily I mostly caught that in time. A hair past even with that flywheel, or with the flywheel should be a hair past where the crank sits. You know what I mean, don't you? Don't want to hammer on the end of that crank because you'll flare it out. So I'm just trying to go even. Alright, now what I was talking about before, that's how I know it goofed up, is if you look right here, hope you can see that, there's an arrow. So this is the rotation. So if your pump is not going that way, it actually damages it. It can overheat it and it can actually spin that unloader off. So that's going to be controlled by your motor rotation. Kind of critical that we get the wiring on the motor correct. Well, listen to how that sounds. Sounds to me like we've got good compression. I'm hearing another noise over here. I want to make sure that that's not something rubbing. Okay, I think it's just air escaping from the head. Because like I said before, I do not have the head tightened down yet. For good reason. It tastes like lots of money. You might have noticed this isn't a torque wrench. I, unfortunately, do not have a crow's foot that is 15/16. This light cord is trying to strangle me. I've got several light cords up here that I need to kind of tie up. You know, one more thing on the list. So I'm going to use this new torque wrench, and we're just going to go from the center and work our way out. So I'll just set them at 20 first. I like this. It's smooth. 20. Alright, I've dropped a washer here, and I also need to go down and get some bolts. And those other covers. This is just a cover though. Okay, that's 25 foot-pounds, and I don't know that I want to go a whole lot more than that, because I do not want to break one of these bolts off. So, I mean, if we might go get the aftercooler, and hopefully you guys can see, you've got a reference as to where we're at here. So this is sticking out the side of the head. So you can see how tricky this is. If I can get a couple of them started, we'll be golden. So you can. All right, here's the air cleaner. It's all painted up, and I decided I'm going to put some Teflon tape on those threads just to help out. Oh, there goes my Teflon tape. I'll have to roll that back up. Alright, hopefully you can see tails facing that direction, because you're going to be spinning it in. So, well, look who stopped by. I think the neighbor dog was chasing her. This is not my cat. She's going to be our shop mascot. That is if she stops biting me. Hey, can you say hi? Yeah. She just loves attention. Until she doesn't, then she bites me. Chill. So, we are in the process of putting the air cleaner on, and now all I've got to do is put the wing nut on and the new air filter, and we should be good to go with that. Next step is going to be getting this fan figured out and getting the belts put on to the compressor pulleys, you know what I mean. Put the belts on and get it tensioned, which is no easy feat. There's no tensioning mechanism at all, so it's all Armstrong. And then we'll connect the fill tube and the unloader tube. And what else we got to do? Oh, we got to wire the stinking motor. That's going to be fun. And then oh, that feels good. Oh, that feels so good. Final step to completion right there. Pump is pretty well done. Now we just got to connect it to the tank and all that crap. Oh, I know what the other thing we were going to do was. Got to put oil in, dummy. Alright, well, this is going to be a little interesting, because you guys are right where I need to be. So, take that. Now, what it really is, the tripod's in the way here, so I'm kind of having to do this off the side so you can maybe see what I'm doing. Just get rid of some of this Teflon tape here. This is just to make sure we don't leak. Basically, the rated useful CFM on this pump is twice what the other pump is. So I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to put that 703 pump on this tank, because this tank's huge, as you can tell. Probably doesn't come across as well on camera, but I'm telling you what, this tank is a beast. And why you'd put the smallest pump on the biggest tank, I can't fathom. Okay, so this was a problem before with this airline. So I think what I had to do is kind of get this threaded down and going on here a little ways, and then kind of try to start that. But you've got to have some flexibility in here too. And these, you can see these don't line up very well, so gently trying to clock that over. See, if you're too rough on it, we'll be bending a new line up. You know, I don't want to do that. Okay, so I've got that started. I'd really rather have this bottom one tightened down first, because that's going to suck that down on an angle, kind of pull us into the plane that we need to be on. And if I tighten this down first, you can see it's a little cockeyed. That flare is going to be kicked up, and it'll have less of a chance of sealing properly. So, I thought maybe I'm going to try and tape this lower one, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I tried this before and it didn't work. I know you can't see what I'm doing here. I'm sorry, but this is real difficult down in here. I'm going to do this one because this bottom one's fighting me. Just get this started. When you're doing these, this is the same thing for a brake line or anything. You don't want this fitting hovering around up here and having this bottom out first. You want to pull that all the way down so that you can kind of float. Otherwise, you'll never get it on. You know, thinking maybe it'd be a better idea to start this on the flywheel first. All right. Okay, I don't know where that cut off. I guess I hit the remote inside my pocket or something. But here we are putting the cover back on. I was just trying to say, it's got these little screw holes in there, so let's try this way first. And this is how you pinch your fingers. Okay, so after a long delay, we're back at it here. So I've got to look at my phone to wire this here, because I took pictures of how the wiring was here. I had to cut this one because I needed to take this off. I needed to paint it and stuff, so get you a better shot here. Make sure this is in the upper third. Fellers, I think I got it wired correctly. I couldn't see on here what this stuff was labeled as. So we're gonna have to just try it and find out. It looks to me, you know, by process of elimination that we've got all this stuff correct. And then if it's rotating backwards, that's easy enough to fix. We just have to interchange, what do they say, T5 and T8. So one of these lines for one of those lines. And I'm not going to touch it. Let's go pop the breaker on, and I'll get the camera repositioned. We can watch the gauge on here and see if it pumps up, and we'll time it. So okay, I'm going to go flip the breaker. Keep your fingers crossed. call that a successful test. I forgot to close the valve on the bottom of the tank, but looks like we're running the correct direction, and nothing blew up, so we're going to go ahead and pressurize it now. Okay, here we go. Alright, that's it. I think we've got a little leak at the regulator here. Stupid thing. I hate this regulator. It doesn't work right anyway. So this will be something we need to tear in and see if we can fix it. Like, comment, subscribe if you do. If you don't, last thing we got to do is touch up paint and then button up this little bit of wiring here. That's just 4 screws, so I think we're in good shape here. And this month-long nightmare, I think, is done. Reaper signing out.